Hello. According to the vet, my dog is a healthy boy, but stuff still happened. So what's up? More medical science. A massive years-long study has found that there's a drug which can reduce the chances of death after surgery for lung cancer by 50%. The drug is called osimertinib. And if you take it, you might live. According to research, if you have a specific mutation and have lung cancer, this drug can significantly reduce your chances of death. And I am not a biology boy, but apparently it's big news. It applies to at least a quarter of all lung cancer cases in the world, which is cool. And it's being referred to as thrilling and practice-changing. Here is a quote. 30 years ago, there was nothing we could do for these patients. Now we have this potent drug. I had a thought while I was reading about this study, which is that there's, the group taking the drug and then, of course, a control group taking a placebo, and the control group died a lot more. Ethics get weird. Like, we didn't know if this was going to help, but it turns out it helped a lot, and you just happened to be in the placebo group, and now you're dead. Anyway, reminder that police unions are state-sanctioned gangs commissioned to use violence against us on behalf of the owning class. A cop in New York City noticed that police were giving out literal laminated cards to friends and family that were basically saying, "Hey, I'm a friend of a cop. Don't arrest me." This officer was like, that doesn't seem right, and so he brought it up to his superiors, who reprimanded him. He raised a stink about literally giving people get-out-of-jail-free cards, and the police union threatened to drop him from representation if he took any action towards somebody who holds one of these cards. This is because police unions are state-sanctioned gangs. As a reminder, all cops are bastards. Yes, even the one that raised this concern. They don't really have oversight and can do shit like this. Aren't you glad that we are raising their budgets? And hey, New Yorkers, aren't you glad that you elected a literal cop as your mayor? Hey, I've got news about school systems that isn't about being anti-queer. Finally, so the Howard County Public School System in Howard County, Maryland, is suing Big Tech. They have filed a lawsuit against Meta and Google and TikTok, citing that these companies are working to essentially make teenagers' lives miserable. Social norms and unrealistic standards and dopamine chasing and all that stuff. You know, what we're doing. They're not totally wrong, but also if you think that the average teenager in 2023 cares at all about Meta, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Do I think this is going to go anywhere? No. It's a school system versus like the most well-paid lawyers in the world. But I do think that something should probably happen. I don't think we should be banning people entirely, but Big Tech needs significantly more regulation. I made a video about that on my YouTube channel. Just how mixed is your reality? Today is the first day of Apple's WWDC, which does not stand for What Would Jesus Could? It stands for Worldwide Developer Conference. While this conference is usually just for developers, this time they're expected to actually drop their next major platform, which would be a VR headset. A mixed reality headset. A mixed reality personal device. I don't know. Word on the street is that this device is not really anything like they set out to create in the first place. Like, they wanted to make glasses that could display stuff, and they're probably going to release some kind of like ski goggle looking thing. It's Apple, so it's interesting because they don't like to put out products that are just not going to work. But also people are like, how is this going to work? And will it work? And do people care? Unknown. We'll see what happens. On this day in 1829, the HMS Pickle captured a slaver ship. There have been several HMS Pickles, but this pickle was an anti-slaver pickle. It was literally a ship commissioned to have suppressive force against the slave trade, and they conquered some special ship that was an armed slaver ship off of Cuba. Go Pickle! Lightning round. If you haven't heard, this past Friday, there was a train disaster in India. Multiple trains have collided, and it's resulted in nearly 300 deaths. The wreckage is being cleaned up, people are looking for their loved ones, and this is one of the biggest train disasters in India in the past few decades. That sucks. I don't have a transition that will make this okay. The anti-queer hate group Moms for Liberty has harassed a Florida school enough that the school is going to reprint their yearbook without 2 pages that have queer representation. YouTube is updating their content policy to explicitly allow election denial conspiracy theories. Twitter is now one of the most hated brands in the country, along with the Trump Organization and Fox News. Speaking of which, the second head of trust and safety under Musk has left Twitter after Musk sided with the right-wing rag Daily Wire and promoted their anti-trans propaganda film. Musk then went on to strongly publicly endorse the notion that we should get rid of the TQ plus part of LGBTQ. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Stuff Keeps Happening. Head to stuffkeepshappening.online for sources, bonus content, and probably more writing soon, if I'm being honest. I'm pretty excited about that. My name is Endeavorance. I'll be back on Wednesday. Take care and be well.